Alright, everybody, welcome back to the channel and our campaign of Ironsworn Starforged Crystalline Shadows. Where last we left off, we were not in a good position. What I had hoped would be a nice little bit of excitement turned into a fight for Ash's life. That went horribly wrong. He just barely made it out. He lost his sword. And we're not doing so good. So we'll have to see what happens. We are, for those who don't remember, investigating another vault on the planet Savuseni that, based on information that our duo has found, they think will help cure or at least ameliorate Vander Bond's condition. So, on their way, they haven't even really gotten into the site yet. They got jumped by some chimeras that had escaped from this facility probably a long time ago. This is probably like an active, breeding population now on this planet, which is not good. Not good at all. Especially now that our main hero's weapon has been lost to presumably the depths of the ice. He might be able to get it back if he were willing to return, but I don't see that as a good option. I don't think Ash is going to try and sneak back in there on the off chance he's going to be able to dig his sword out of the ice crack that it fell into. He's going to assume that that's gone and he'll have to look for something else. He does have a sidearm, a small pistol, and Vander Bond has their rifle. So they're not completely defenseless as they move in, but it's not looking great at all. So what should we start off with? Let's check our vows, because I was thinking about this. The move, where is it? What am I looking for? Reach a milestone. Defeat a notable foe is part of that. So I think we're going to do that. They've definitely overcome a notable foe. We're gonna mark experience there. We did finish the Chimera fight by escaping just barely. Feels like I should mark progress on this too for that. Just anything we do in anything that furthers something related to the Scarlet Shards, which working together to cure one of their members of an illness is probably going to go towards helping with good graces and whatnot. So I think we can safely say that after that adventure, Ash and Vander make it into the outskirts of the city complex that is set into the side of this dormant ice volcano. If you don't remember the details of where we are, this vault is on this planet. There is a massive, mega ice volcano, and built around the edge of it is this Precursor vault site that is a large, elaborate, sprawling city-like setup. And at the back of it, carved into the side of this volcano, is the vault, in the form of some sort of monument. They couldn't make out the details or at least it didn't look close enough at them before moving into the city. So we'll see what it really looks like when we get up close, but that's going to be a little bit, especially now. It is also surrounded by like big walls in kind of like a half circle that have been crashed through and destroyed, presumably by some sort of megafauna after the site was abandoned, but could have also maybe been warfare. We don't really know. But they we'll say they find a building they were aiming towards to begin with after they had gotten in there to take stock and to look around. And after getting royally messed up by those chimera, I think first thing I should try to do is healing, which has historically gone oh so well. I think we're going to obtain treatment from Vander, rolling plus heart, which also means we're going to get a +1 because I do think this falls under their focus of, let's see here, exploration. They're a general explorer, precursor, scholar, kind of turning into a regular Indiana Jones type. So I think basic first aid, especially since they kind of take care of their own medical condition, would fall under Vander's purview. So we're going to roll plus heart +1 to try and get some medical treatment. And that is a strong hit. Oh, thank the gods. So on a strong hit, if you or your ally are wounded, which we are not, we rolled for that at the end of last time and it did not get wounded, clear the impact and take 2 health. Otherwise, take or give 3 health. So Ash's health moves from 1 to 4 as he sits there, and Vander, they probably half take his suit off, especially because the whatchamajig, his ankle especially is messed up as one of the chimeras latched onto his leg trying to pull him back under when they were climbing out right at the very end. But we do have a med kit. That's one of the things that it specifically calls out that we have, and either way I think it would make sense for them to have one. So Vander goes to work getting Ash patched up, and I presume while Vander's tending to his wounds, especially on like his leg and stuff where he can kind of move his arms a little bit better, Ash is probably going to go and patch up his enviro suit a bit, at least the bigger problems, to help keep more of the heat and stuff in. I'm gonna say I don't think it will really come into play, but it's probably not like airtight or anything anymore. It probably doesn't have like the proper environmental seal, but patching the holes, and I'm sure the suit is like insulated and stuff to keep them just safe, because it is like a space suit. So it's probably pretty well insulated, and we'll say it's not damaged enough to keep the to make the cold a problem on this planet, because I think we need to be nice to Ash a little bit after what I put him through last session. That was a rough fight. He could use a break. But with that, I did say that we weren't going to do a progress clock for this vault. We were just going to explore it naturally. Something that I wanted to do, and something that I think makes sense here. I won't reveal the nature of the complex quite yet, but what I will say is the idea I had that they were first going to discover and find here, and now that they have, is a that this building is a vehicle depot. So once the pair takes some time to rest and just let everything settle for a minute, they Ash takes a look around inside and gets up, starts walking around, testing out his stability and whatnot. While Vander pokes their head outside, and they call back, and it says that it looks like there's some sort of vehicles buried in the snow. I'm sure they won't be of any use after being out there for so long, but maybe something more useful in here. And that's when Ash finds the light switch and, you know, throws the big lever, and there's like the of all the big lights turning on and whatnot, to reveal that they are in fact in a vehicle depot, or at least, if not a proper depot, a parking structure of some sort. And the stuff is not in great condition. Let's actually, you know what, let's see. We're gonna... How does secure an advantage work? Yeah, would check your gear be better for this? To check and see if you have a specific helpful item, roll plus supply. I'm not gonna roll. You don't have to roll for everything, and rolling went horribly wrong last time. And this is something I want to do specifically. I've been thinking about this for a while. But yeah, they are going to browse and see if they can find anything salvageable and useful. So they take some time, and partially to let Ash work the stiffness out of his injured leg and make sure everything's good to go, but also to pick through what is there. It's like this place has been abandoned for who knows how long, but the Precursors obviously built things to last if their sites and stuff are still around. So the frames and a lot of the more robust components are going to be there. So Ash has got to assess what's in the best condition. This is a beggars can't be choosers situation. And what he finds is this, in the best condition, is this larger flatbed hover skiff. It's one of those things that is like you can put a bunch of people on it. It's like it's a two-seater in the front with like a trailer or a flatbed type situation, so you can put a bunch of people on it, or you can haul a bunch of cargo, stuff like that. It's a longer range but not speedy transportation. It's kind of halfway between a hover bike and like a shuttle, if we want to use the specific assets that are provided in game. And what I think they're going to do is they're going to use this to quickly return back to the ship. Partially because I want to do this mechanically before I forget, and then have to come back to it later. But also because it's one of those things where it's like Ash can get it running, but it's also very likely to break down at any point in time. So what Ash and Vander are going to do is Ash is going to drive it up into the cargo bay of the Stellar Hawk, and he's going to, because I talked about, I think last time or the time before, switching out this grappler. And now I had thought about doing it at a place where we like trade it or something, but then I thought this would make sense. Ash is a mechanic who's good at making do. As what I would call, that me and my family do a lot, is redneckifying, where we build things out of other things that were never meant to be built that way. And no one would ever pretend that they pass any sort of safety inspection. However, they do work. I've driven quite a few many cars that have little bits and bobs here that have been stretched way past their original intention to get by until a new car can be purchased. So that's what Ash is going to do here. We're going to trade this grappler asset. I'm going to remove it. And where's the button that I'm looking for? It's that. We are going to trade it. I got distracted by the vehicle bay. It lets you purchase and upgrade for 1 less experience. Interesting. Might have to get that. But we're going to trade it for a skiff. That when you undertake an expedition or set a course, you can rely on the skiff's durability and roll plus its integrity instead. So we're going to add that to give our duo a vehicle that I think will be more useful throughout this campaign. This is the grappler. For what I originally intended it is just, I don't think it's going to be very useful, so I wanted to switch it out, and I think this is a narratively adept way of doing it. However, what I am going to do is I'm going to set its integrity to 2 instead of the possible 4, and then we are going to roll repair. Yeah, we're gonna roll repair, or should I'm gonna set it to 1. We're gonna set it to 1. It's just barely functional right now, but we're still gonna roll repair though. So that is plus wits. I don't think Vander can help us with this one. I think this is too technical for their general, I'm sure jerry-rigging stuff is probably qualifies under the explorer, but I think this is far too advanced for something they can do. So let's see what Ash can manage on his own. And it's a weak hit. I'm going to say we're in the field, so we get 1 point. So we get plus 1 integrity on the skiff. So we are at the 2 that we were originally going to set it at. Probably going to need to stop and get things properly done in a bigger city, fixed up and whatnot. But now they have a vehicle that will not only allow them to move, hopefully, through the city better, but also to bring back anything if they find maybe like a larger piece of machinery or a lot of supplies or something like that. They'll be able to load them up onto the skiff and return them back to the Stellar Hawk, as opposed to just being able to take what they can carry and leaving. So with that being said, we've done one thing I wanted to accomplish here. There are a few other things I have planned for this place that I have thought of, but we'll see how long it takes to get to them. So once they return in what is becoming a kind of well-worn path, Ash and Jaeger are going to have to take a look around. Ash and Vander. It sounds like I've been drinking some Jaeger, which I absolutely have not. Jaeger is disgusting. But I think the simple thing is to take a look around. Search for clues, see what they can do here. Maybe they can find some sort of city map or some sort of thing to plug for Vander to plug into and find like an infrastructure grid or something like that. We shall see. Let's roll plus wits one more time. A strong hit. So a strong hit. You discover something helpful and specific. The path you must follow or action you must take to make progress is made clear. Envision what you learn and take +2 momentum. I did forget I should have gotten a +1 on this. Probably should have gotten +2, really, because investigating a precursor site and, you know, gathering information about one of our quests is probably what this second thing of the bounty would be talking about. But doesn't matter. We got a strong hit anyway. So we take +2 momentum up to a whopping 3. And I guess let's roll on the story clue. Let's see what it gets us. Involves a notable faction. All right. So I guess the obvious thing is that that one group shows up. Okay, little jump here. I did forget that I hadn't rewritten the what I had come up with, and I never really talked about this because I didn't want to point it out until it was happened, but some of you may have noticed that I had rolled up some stuff for them off screen for that group. We had that little vignette about we've had some encounters with a certain group of pirates, gangsters, I guess is the best term that they had in the official book for what they really are. The group that what I will tell you is the Blazing Covenant. Ash and Vander have no idea what they're called, but what they do recognize as they are looking around and gathering information here is the bright, colorful personal ships that these guys tend to have. They saw them outside the planet of, I think it was Felicity. Yeah, they saw them outside Felicity at the last mysterious vault that we were at. And they had an encounter with them on the way out. A group of recruits had not been able to make their way into the sanctum of the vault to gain something useful, which they probably weren't expected to begin with, to be fair. However, these recruits don't know that. And when they returned, presumably as failures, they pointed to Ash and Vander having gone inside, saying that, well, maybe these two have something useful. And thus the chase began, and it seems that the chase has caught up to our intrepid heroes, and they now see multiple colorful ships. We won't say a whole lot. We'll say, like, I guess 2 maybe. So it'll be a solid crew for a big setting like this. They can probably get away. However, they're probably going to land next to the Stellar Hawk, or at least nearby enough. Maybe they'll get really lucky and those people will run into the chimeras and have to deal with them. So they can maybe thin each other out a little bit before we have to deal with them. But I do think that means they are going to kick it into gear and just travel farther into this complex. I'm looking for moves. What I need is oracles, vault oracles, interior. Planet side. I don't know if that makes a difference for this, but let's take a look and let's see what is let's see what it looks like in here now that these two are going deeper into this city and have a chance to look around. Corpses of intruders. I don't like that one. We had that last time. I think we had that last time. We had something else last time like that, but damage and debris. Okay, so the outer walls were damaged. Makes sense that the inner walls will be damaged. There are probably wide swaths of the city. I'm gonna say more to this evidence of the megafauna here. It's like some big mammoth type thing just crashed through the city, was maybe looking for a place to bed down or something, leveled a couple of buildings walking through, and then, you know, walked out the other side, putting another hole in the wall type situation. So there's a lot of damage, at least in the localized area of this city. It's like a district of a city that's been probably, you know, leveled, we'll say. And anything else interesting? Reactive lighting responds to your presence. So we already determined that there was power. As I said, Ash turned the lights on. But it seems like maybe public infrastructure is actually set up to... part of the reason maybe that it still has power is that public infrastructure is set up to preserve whatever power system, and let's be honest, it's probably some sort of massive heart crystal generator power plant somewhere in this complex. Is the city is hooked up to. So they, as they walk or float, I guess, down these roads, street lights, maybe some directional signs that are projected rather than physical, pop up, and we're one to turn around and look after a few minutes after they left. The lights go out once there's no more movement. So were it nighttime, I'm not picturing it being nighttime, this would probably be a problem. So if they do stay later, we'll have to keep that in mind. If they stay long enough for it to get dark, this reactive lighting may give them away to the people who are looking for them. Right now, I don't think it's really a problem. You're only really going to notice it if you're right there. So if they get really unlucky, it might give away what section of the city they're in, at least, if the Blazing Covenant members come by quick enough. For now, though, they're pretty safe. But all right, let's see. Is there a way for me to add this real quick to this vault interior? So I'll just add it to the notes so I know. But let's see a feature as well. God, the remains of intruders. It keeps wanting me to do that, but no. Vaulted chamber. You know what? I'm not gonna roll for the features right now. I think my image of this is not necessarily jiving with the creator's image of the mysterious vaults, of the Precursor vaults. I may not be really using this quite properly. It seems like this is something between a vault and a like a derelict settlement, because it's really what it is. It's a derelict settlement, but it's a derelict settlement of the ancient alien empire. So it's a little wishy-washy on what parts of the book I should be using right now. However, peril and opportunity. I guess what I'm gonna do is I will roll to undertake an expedition, not for progress, but just to see if we get a peril or an opportunity. Or would explore a waypoint be better? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna roll to explore a waypoint, I guess. That makes the most sense. To see if we get something interesting or run into a peril with another peril behind us. That's a miss with a match. And the luck is back. And that's double nines. That's almost like the equivalent of a critical failure. Well, it says, on a miss, you encounter an immediate hardship or threat and must pay the price. On a miss with a match, You may instead confront chaos. And considering we haven't had to confront chaos yet, I think we should confront chaos. When your exploration of a waypoint uncovers something dreadful, decide the number of aspects, 1, 2, or 3, roll that number of times, or choose that number of aspects on the table below. Then envision how the encounter begins. For each result, when you first confront that aspect within the scope of the encounter, you and your allies may mark 1 tick on your Discovery's legacy track. Alright. So, roll, what should... Let's go with 2. Let's go with 2. Yeah. It'll be fine, I'm sure. The sight of a baffling disappearance. And then people corrupted by chaos. Okay. So, here's what I'm thinking. God, there are just horrible things. However, I think what happens is that as they are driving along, there is not like a flash, but there is a split second where the reality of their situation shifts. 1 minute, they are driving through this snow-covered, decrepit, broken down site where the old bones of a civilization are still standing strong. And the next second, they're driving through what appears to be a normal, well-maintained, populated city. And obviously Ash slams on the brakes. There's no screeching or anything. It's a hover skiff. And kind of swerves off the road as he almost rear ends another skiff that's going about its business. And he does a quick, sloppy parking job as the pair of them look around. And they realize that they are the victims of a baffling disappearance. And before I forget, I get to mark, if I remember where it's at, Discoveries, another tick on the Discoveries track. We're real close to getting even more experience. We gotta remember we've got 4. I do have a plan for some of this. Maybe we'll get more out of this. I mean, we will get more out of this when we finish the quest, but for now, I'm gonna deal with this. Ash and Vander look around. They stand up in the skiff as the people go about their business, and it is a metropolitan collection of aliens. Now, there aren't any, I may have to look them up if we want to get into the real nitty-gritty of it, but there are no oracles for alien races that are provided with the book. I'm positive somebody somewhere has made them. However, I do not have any. But remember, this is a Roman-like empire where they have kind of taken over and subsumed a great many cultures, and while there may be a predominant culture in whatever area it was native to, these cultures have kind of bled and mingled in together. So it is not uncommon, especially in a nation that can travel the stars, for species to mix and mingle. And so, while these two don't see any humans in their immediate area, no one else seems to really be reacting to them. They see them. People will make eye contact as they pass by, but they don't react to the differences. They don't No one's freaking out that there are suddenly 2 humans in the middle of the city. However, the 2 humans are freaking out that they are suddenly in the middle of the city. Ash looks around and reflexively goes to grab for his sword that isn't there. It's just an empty scabbard. The comfort of that weapon no longer there. So instead he puts his hand on the butt of his pistol. Doesn't draw it quite yet, but does. He's clearly on edge. Vander looks like they're about to vibrate out of their seat as they sit back down, and Ash pulls back into the flow of traffic and slowly starts just idly wandering around. And Vander is trying to see everything at once. They have taken out their tablet and are writing, we'll just say making voice notes. They've connected it to their helmet and are chattering away at descriptions and whatnot. And Ash is trying to process and figure out how to fix this. He really would rather not be stuck in the past. Gotta remember the next one is people corrupted by chaos. And what so I think Ash is going to go into recon mode. He is going to start looking for a way back out, anything that is different. And he gets a strong hit. So we get 2 more momentum. We're up to 5, starting to get to the point where it will hopefully help. And it says the path you must follow or the action you must take to make progress is made clear. And what I think is they hear a very big commotion. And maybe, we'll say an explosion. Not a big one, but like the equivalent of like a car crashing into something and then exploding. Not like somebody set off a bomb to take down a building. And they go over to it. They start to make their way through the city. Let's I guess we'll roll. Let's see how difficult it is. Probably don't really need to, but just for funsies. I haven't learned my lesson enough on this. So a strong hit. They are able. Ash is apparently a pretty good stunt driver, as he goes from the slow flow of traffic meandering through inner city traffic to ignoring the rules, get to the objective type driving. Cutting around people, going up on the sidewalk when necessary and whatnot. And when he arrives at this little, we'll say square, kind of like a little 2-block long park, which is like, a little, I guess not. Well, yeah, it could be, we'll say it's like a glass dome. I wasn't thinking at first that, whatchamajig, of it being on an ice planet. However, I do think, instead of the whole city being in domes, maybe they've got these little domed park spaces, so you can be outside in, I'm going to say purple. I don't know why. I don't think the stuff that grows here is green. This is alien stuff, so it's purple. Grass, trees, like an actual, like a park. They've artificially made a little terrarium park. However, in and around this park, people are scattering. There is another vehicle that has indeed crashed, and the heart crystal exploded that was carrying it. So luckily no fire, because there's no like gasoline or anything like that, but there is some lovely what my old high school robotics team would call like the magic white smoke that makes the machine live, is definitely pouring out of where the working components would be. And people are running around, but these people don't look quite right, and that's coming from a human surrounded by aliens. So let's find out what I'm thinking. So it's people corrupted by chaos. So what I want to do is roll, I think, let me double check my book oracles to make sure I'm using the correct one. I think the people have encountered some sort of creature first look table is what I'm looking for. These aliens have encountered or been warped by some sort of chaotic energy, and they're being changed, which is why they're running around. Let's see here. Fungal growth. Back to the fungal. You know what? It's on brand, so I'm gonna say it makes sense. Fungal growth. So we're getting some sort of kind of what's the game? Last of Us type vibes, as like mushrooms and other little growths and stalks are starting to sprout from people and they're running around. And I'm also going to say that this makes them aggressive. I'm going to start a progress clock of troublesome here. Stop the chaos energy. Because this is a small localized type event, but I think this is definitely something that Ash is going to want to jump into. And he cuts a pretty impressive figure. Remember, he's got his like black exosuit. It's now scarred and scuffed and kind of tore up. And he immediately kind of goes up on the sidewalk and jumps out, pistol drawn. One of the infected people runs at him. Let's enter the fray here. Facing off against your foe, roll plus heart, because it's not in the thick of close quarters. Yeah, I think facing off against your foe. That I like that. We haven't done that yet. We're gonna roll plus heart to see what sort of situation we're in real quick. A weak hit. A weak hit, choose one. Take +2 momentum, or you are in control. I'm gonna say you are in control. He jumps out, he draws his pistol. One of the aliens, now driven mad from this fungal infection that's taking over their body and warping their mind and stuff like that, starts stumbling towards him, and he just, without hesitation, blasts them down. So he can kind of maybe like step up onto part of the skiff, onto the outer part, and start looking around, seeing what assets he might be able to use to help do this. There's this I guess we'll maybe try to secure an advantage or gather information. We'll gather information. We'll do that. Okay. But first, we need to mark for our discoveries, because now we've encountered the second part of this little problem here. But let's gather some information. Do we use gather information, or is there a gain ground? Yeah, okay. Yeah, gain ground is what I'm looking for. When you are in control and take action in a fight to reinforce your position or move towards an objective, envision your approach and roll. We are going to be coordinating a plan, studying a situation, or cleverly gaining leverage. So we're going to roll plus wits. as Ash will study the situation. On a strong hit, on a hit you stay in control. On a strong hit, choose 2. Either mark progress, take 2 momentum, or add +1 to your next move. We're going to mark progress and take 2 momentum. So now we're up to 7, and we are going to mark some progress here. As Ash looks into the little terrarium park and sees this swirling kind of vortex nimbus of energy floating in the air, and as tendrils of it kind of lash out whenever it touches a person or a thing. There's like either like on the ground there are like lines of fungi and mushrooms and stuff like that, and anyone touched by these lashing tendrils, they get corrupted into this form. So Ash is going to have to do something about that. And okay, so what I think Ash is going to do, Ash is going to look at Vander and point to one of the abandoned vehicles near the entrance to the park and tell them to get the heart crystal out of that and get it into the park. I'll come help when I can, but I'm going to try and get some of these people out of here. So I'm going to roll gain ground again, but this time using heart, as Ash is going to fall under coming to the aid of others. Ash is going to charge into the throngs of people as they are starting to fight off others that have been corrupted by this energy. And he's going to have to get violent, unfortunately, but he's going to start pulling people out and trying not to kill anyone, but there's people are, he doesn't know if they're going to be able to come back. He's probably working under the assumption that they aren't going to be able to get changed back or anything like that. But the he is going to kind of throw himself into the thick of things, and despite not having a blade, he is still a melee combatant, so he is still able to put himself between those and the danger that they are in. On a weak hit, you choose 1, so I think we are going to I guess we'll mark progress. Yeah, we'll mark progress. As Vander runs over to the vehicle that Ash had indicated and, you know, pops the hood and starts disconnecting the heart crystal inside, which is, we'll say for something like that, maybe half the size of a normal engine, something that's kind of like, I don't know, torso sized. So Vander's probably gonna not be able to what's the word, to take care of it on their own. They get all the clamps off and all the connections off, and by the time Ash has, you know, gotten enough people running in the same direction that others are starting to follow, he's sort of, you know, what's the word, like sheepdogged his way into getting the civilians flowing all in the same direction. He is goes and to help Vander, he opens the door to the place, you know, getting blasted with warm summer-like air, before taking a hold of the other half of this crystal and hoisting it out and trying to drag it into position, which I think is still gonna be gain ground, but this time with iron, because they're trying to physically get this through the crowd, while fighting off any attacking individuals and stuff like that. So this one's going to be plus iron, which is 2. So we're staying at least for once inside the purview of Ash's capabilities. And now that I've said that, we're going to get a miss. Watch. A strong hit with a match. Awesome. So you know what? I'm just gonna have that take. We will mark progress, and I'm gonna take it all the way up to 10. That I'll give that little extra box and that match as they drag the crystal towards it, and they huck the thing into this kind of energy singularity, and run in hopes that will overload it and somehow fix it. And with that quick little bit, we are going to take decisive action. Roll the challenge dice and compare to progress. We have a full bar, which means we still technically can get a miss if we get double 10s, but hopefully that won't be a problem. Not marked. I have to roll. I have to hit the right button. A strong hit. On a strong hit, you take +1 momentum. Yes, so we take +1 momentum, going up to 8. I don't think we get any experience for that. However, the crystal sails, and it kind of gets picked up. I'm going to say it's they throw it at the thing, and then the thing kind of like slurps it up. And then there's a pause where, or there not necessarily a pause, there's like a point where the energy tendrils and stuff start flashing and thrashing around more and stuff like that, and then it just goes faster and faster and faster. It starts expanding, and then all of a sudden there's a switch where they just kind of suck back in, and it condenses down into a point and then vanishes. The energy overloaded by the mixture of whatever corrupted chaos energy and the more natural, steady, kind of condensed energy crystal that was thrown into it, kind of nullifying each other. And I don't think Ash and Vander get to see the results of this, as they are then suddenly standing inside the perimeter. I don't think the glass is there anymore, but the perimeter of an open area that used to be a park. Back once more in their own time, and probably shaken up, but safe, and returned from their misadventure. And with that, I think we are going to end the episode here. Give us a like and subscribe if you want to come back and see what happens next. If you liked what you watched and want to hear more, don't forget to hit the little notification bell to get notified when we post next. But until then, as they say in the Forge, stay safe out there.